Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and we're live from Manchester City versus Bournemouth, this Super Sunday 4:30 kickoff. Hope you're all doing very, very well. Hopefully Bournemouth can get a result. Well, you know, I am being honest. Hopefully they can. We are obviously reacting also to the fact that Newcastle have just lost 3-1 to West Ham. I mean, that Nuno bounce was always going to happen, I suppose. Did not expect them to score 3 goals, especially when Newcastle went 1-0 up in the first 5 minutes. You felt that it would be that sort of a day. But it's a weird day for Newcastle again. Yeah, weird day for Newcastle. You know, you look at the league table. This is good for United. This is good for Sunderland. This is good for Spurs. Newcastle are 13th. They're 5 points off 7th place. So they've lost 4, drawn 3, won 3. What's going wrong at Newcastle? I mean, I would not expect Newcastle to be where they are, and I would not expect them to be losing the games they are. 2 in a row. Lost to Brighton last week, lost to West Ham this week. Newcastle in a bit of a crisis, but they played horribly, says Dr. Usha. They're missing Isak, says the bruv. I still think they've got one of the best midfields in the league, and I still think they're a good side. I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised about Newcastle, I've got to say. I am very, very surprised. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well this Sunday. I've just been out for a lovely pub lunch, a nice big glass of Melbeck. And I'm feeling very relaxed this afternoon, so hopefully we'll get a good Sunday afternoon game. Let's run through the teams for you. So Man City, Donnarumma, Núñez, Diaz, Vardiel, O'Reilly, Silva, Gonçalves and Foden, and then Cherki, Doku, Harland. I think the interesting thing about Man City tonight is are they capable of being challengers to Arsenal? We know it's Man City. We know about Harland. We know about Pep Guardiola. We know about some of these players, and they've got some good players. But do they have that aura, or are they beatable? And I think Bournemouth coming in today, already in the top 4 before a ball's been kicked, having a very, very good season. What a great test it is. I mean, look, you look at the Man City bench with the likes of, well, I'll name it for you: Ake, Altnouri, Rodri, Lewis, Mamouche, Savinho, Reinders, Stones, Trafford. I mean, that is an elite bench. I think only Arsenal at the moment can compete with Man City for a bench of that quality. But are they a team capable of fighting for the title? I think the jury's out on that, but they've got to win games like this. Bournemouth, Petrovic, Truffert. Keep an eye out for number 3, Truffert. He's been a fantastic replacement for Kirkes, having a great season in his debut season in the Prem. Senesi, Diakati, Jimenez, Adams, Scott, Semenyo, Brooks, Tavernier and Krupi. Very surprised at some of the players that are actually on the Bournemouth bench, actually, when you think about Evan Nilsson, Kluivert. But look, they sell players, Bournemouth, and they still end up being a really, really good team. Man City will be the favourites for this. Interestingly, Robbie went with the Man City win and I went with a draw. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm just giving up points here, like a prat. But look, let's see. Let's see. You never know. You never know. Bournemouth have got a 19-year-old up front, says Greg. He's only 19 years old. He was only 19 years old. Let's have a look at... Is that Krupi then? Can't pretend to know anything about it. He doesn't look 19. He is 19. I mean, looking at the... I'm not saying he's not 19, but just looking at the pictures of him, I would never have said he was 19. Maybe that picture's a little bit unfair. Yeah, he does look more like 19 on that one. So yeah, Krupi, number 19. No, sorry, not number 19. He is 19. Came into Bournemouth from Lorient. No, he was on loan. No, he was at Lorient. I don't know what's going on there. He was at Lorient. They've signed him. He's a French under-21. And he's starting for Bournemouth, which is interesting, considering they've got Evan Nilsson on their bench. Yeah. As an Arsenal fan, I want to draw, says Tyler. Yeah, I think he's done well since Evan Nilsson's injury, says Rob. I think that Man City will win this game, but underestimating teams like Bournemouth is why they are where they are in the league. Oh, God. We're going to be yawning loads. It's that wine. I've had a lovely glass of wine. I had a pudding and I had a roast chicken dinner with 2 Yorkshire puddings, lots of roast potatoes. I'm an old man. I'm an old man. I'm in the old man phase here, where a lovely glass of wine, a lovely roast dinner, and a pudding. And really, I just want to fall asleep in front of a James Bond film. But yeah, that's not going to happen. Garfield's having a takeaway. Lovely stuff. Well, ask me anything. Agony Bridge, either ors, start bench cells. Let's get into it. We're about ready to start the game anyway. That's the main thing. Make sure you share the video and subscribe. Man City will be favourites in this game, but Bournemouth are the experts in defying logic, and that is why when we look at the league table today, you can quite clearly see that Bournemouth are second anyway, and Man City can go above them into second place tonight. That's the prize. I mean, we could end up tonight with the top 3 of Arsenal, Man City and Liverpool, which is, despite everybody else doing really, really well, we could still have a top 3 of Arsenal, Man City and Liverpool tonight. So that's the prize. Many a team has come to Man City over the years and been overwhelmed by Man City's juggernaut dominance. Will it happen today? Arthur says, I want Man City to lose this so they can win against Liverpool. Arsenal goes clear then. Of course, this time next week, we'll be settling down for Man City against Liverpool at the Etihad as well, which will be a huge, huge game. Man United missed a big trick yesterday, says Amar. Oh, 100%. 100%. But you get United. I did my morning show on the United stand this morning, funnily enough, and we're on at 8 o'clock as well. And there are actually United fans out there going, Forest is a hard place to go. It's a hard place to go. It's Dyche's first game, and it's a hard place to go. It's not a bad point. And I'm like, if you want to be in the top 4, it's a bad, I don't think Man City or Liverpool or Chelsea or Arsenal are going to go to Forest and go, yeah, we played shit, but we got a draw. It's a good draw. You've got to win at those places. That mentality's got to shift. Like, we didn't deserve to win. We didn't win. And I don't really take massive positives from the result, apart from that we didn't lose. But, you've got to win those sort of games. As Greg Don says, they're the sort of games you've got to win if you want to go into the top 4. So it's a missed opportunity, especially if Man City win this as well. And Liverpool won last night, of course. But Newcastle losing to West Ham is a big, major shock. Bournemouth on the attack early on here. But yeah, West Ham have beaten Newcastle 3-1. Nuno will keep West Ham up. I'm absolutely convinced about it. Absolutely convinced that they'll keep them up. City can't fill their stadium for this game, says Michael. Yeah, it's weird. I don't really get why Man City can't fill that stadium. I mean, Bournemouth are second in the league, aren't they? Good start by Bournemouth, this. Go on, mate. Get your shot off. 1-0. 1-0 Bournemouth. He's offside. He's offside. Oh, they've given it offside. Oh, what a great start that would have been. I think he was offside. Well, if he's flagged it, it will be. But lovely play by the number 7 here. Absolutely burners on, and oh God, mate, you're miles offside. Miles offside. What is he doing there? That's the innocent. If that was Evan Nilsson, he would have kept himself onside. Young Pratt. Miles offside there. Just hold your line in. It's a tap in. I'm sorry. I'm going to be harsh on that. That's what you get when you play a kid up front. Absolutely never should be offside there. That's a goal if he doesn't need to be offside. I'm fuming. DB says he scored more than yours, striker. Shut up, Mark. What's that got to do with the Man City Bournemouth game? And he should have been onside. Who's the best Bond, says Callum. I like Daniel Craig. A lot of people say Connery. I've got to say, I never massively enjoyed the Connery Bonds. I always preferred Roger Moore. I hope Bournemouth aren't one of those teams that play out from the back and leave loads of space, because if this is another Brighton at United, this is going to be a crap game. I hope Bournemouth keep shape at the back. Amram needs to realise you can't play fast-running football against a low block. You have to change strategy and dink crosses into the box, force mistakes, says Parker. Very, very true. It's very open, this game. Oh, God. Where are Bournemouth's midfield? So, if you tune in a little bit late, Bournemouth should be 1-0, but their striker inexplicably got himself 5 yards offside for a tap-in. So it's 0-0. Amazing that Bournemouth were 92nd in the league 16 years ago with a 12-point deduction. Last week for 40 minutes, they were top, says Ian. Thank you very much, Ian. Thanks very much for that bit of history. Man City hate watch. Let's go, says Jack. I don't think I've watched a Man City 90 minutes since they beat us. Actually, I don't like watching City, but I will try and be fair in my assessment of them tonight. Also, I would say that Man City are the best team United have played. Obviously, we've played Liverpool and Arsenal as well, and Man City are the best team we've played. Pouring water down my top here. I'm doing City 3 times, yeah. I've got Dortmund City on Wednesday, and then obviously Liverpool City next Sunday. So, yeah, there's your City hater for you. But look, if City win this game and they play well, in all fairness, credit where it's due. How did Seb's game go? 10-1. They won 10-1. They were excellent again. They could have won more, to be fair. They were 2-1 up at one point, and it could have been 6. But, yeah, they played very well. Cup game next week. It's weird how they do it, though, because there is this massive pool of teams in the area, but it's not a league, because it doesn't get competitive until under 12s, apparently, which is, I think, politically incorrect, woke bollocks. So they really should be looking at the results and, you know, getting the better teams to play against each other, because you know, no one wants to see anyone get beat 10-1. Foden, what a block. Could have been 1-0 Man City there. Goes for a corner. Thanks for all you super chats as well, Parker, Ian Nichols, appreciate that. Through the $sign, we'll read those out. Maybe Foden should have done a little bit better there, but his hair's crap, so what do you expect? His finishing's not much better either. Am I doing Sunderland Everton tomorrow? Absolutely not, Bailey. Absolutely not. I don't like Bournemouth's defensive setup at all here. There's a lot of space. Trying to get a handball here, Man City. Nah. Shut up. Shut up. Do you think Eddie Howe's in trouble, says Ibn Whelan 3005. Well, I've said this before about Eddie Howe. At some point, Newcastle will sack him because the ambition of that football club is very, very big, as we know. But I would hate to see Eddie Howe get the sack. It's a lovely ball. Bournemouth on the break. Brooks. Ref? No. Strong challenge, but no appeals by anybody. Yeah, look, Newcastle fans aren't going to be very happy. Newcastle aren't going to be very happy with 4 losses from your first 10 games and, 12th in the league. So they're having a bad start to the season, Newcastle. I think a lot of that's to do with the Isak saga. You know, starting the season without striker was a mistake. But they've also got the Champions League to consider. I said at the start of the season I didn't think Newcastle would get top 4. I think the Champions League is going to be another, like it was a couple of years ago. It's going to be a detractor. So, but it's a very competitive league at the moment. YouTube says, I can't believe they benched Reinders. Wolves have sacked their manager as well. I was speaking to a Wolves fan at Seb's Football today, one of the dads, and he was like, he's clearly lost the dressing room, so he needs to go. So I just don't know if there's a manager out there that can get Wolves performing any better. But then again, they can't perform much worse. There's talk of Gary O'Neill going back. I don't do FPL Hazard. I would like to see, I mean, Michael Keating says, Howe is not very good enough for the level Newcastle want to go to. If he was not English, he would be under big pressure. I mean, that's why I want him to stay. I want to see him stay because he's English. But, I mean, I don't know what Newcastle's next few games are. Why is it auto correcting me and saying I wrote in Newcastle and it went Newcastle weather? I don't want a bloody weather for Newcastle. I'm not going to bloody Newcastle. I want to know your fixtures. Newcastle weather. Couldn't give a toss, mate. Athletic Club on Tuesday. Brentford away next Sunday. I feel like Newcastle have had... Oh no, they beat Fulham, didn't they? No. Yeah. They lost to Brighton away. They beat Fulham at home. They've just lost to West Ham away, and then they've got Brentford away next week. So that's a tough game. Next Sunday they've got Brentford away. Then they've got Man City, and then they've got Everton away. So look, they're the sort of games that can get you the sack. If he loses to Brentford, loses to Man City, and doesn't beat Everton, I think he'll be, they'll be bottom. They'll be bottom. That's good play by the young lad. So yeah, he's under pressure, Eddie Howe. There's no two ways about it. Talk me through what you've had for dinner, everybody. You won't whet my appetite. Don't worry about that. I feel absolutely full. I've ate way too much today. Yeah, so interesting start. Foden had half a decent chance, good block, and Bournemouth have had the ball in the back of the net, but it was offside. A brilliant run by Brooks, crossed it in, but Krupi had crept offside because he's inexperienced. That will come with age, that will. Pete's had beef in beer casserole. Randy's had pizza and spaghetti. Lots of people having pizza here on a Sunday. Michael has sausages, hash browns and spaghetti. Okay. What Wolves players would top clubs... Wait a minute. Doku. What? Harland's on the back post. Watch out. Harland's about. Crap shot. What Wolves players would top clubs want to sign, says Ross. The centre-back they brought in is quite good. I can't remember his name. Big lad at the back. He is quite good. Inquisition had lasagna. I'm having lasagna tomorrow. I love lasagna. Thanks for your super chats. Somebody's had venison. Now that is elite. That is elite. Handball ref. Oliver says he's had a roast. Yeah, but what did you have for dinner? Ba-dum-dum. Pep 4 in a row. Slot can do 2 respect. Mark says Reap. Okay. Oh, DJ's had a chicken tikka masala. Harry went out for a carvery. Lovely stuff. He's a good signing, this Truffert, for Bournemouth. I've been very impressed with him. But it's amazing what Bournemouth have achieved when you think about all the players they lost in the summer. What am I having for tea? Oh, I won't have much chicken. I don't know whether anyone else is like that on a Sunday. If I go out on a Sunday and I have a dinner and a dessert, there is no evening meal really. Maybe a bowl of cereal. I wonder what happened to Man City if they didn't have Harland. I mean, he is great. I don't think Ten Hag's going to get a job back in England again. Ghostbusters. I mean, he was desperate to get a job, but that Leverkusen job was just... if you think United did him harm, getting sacked by Leverkusen on after your second game is... yeah. It's going to be massively damaging because it's reputational, isn't it? The reputation is that he can't get on with boards now. Default 66 says, do you think Newcastle dodged a bullet by not signing Sesko? He's looked worse than Rasmus and he reminds me of Weghorst type of player. Look, I don't really get the Sesko conversation, if I'm being completely honest about you, and I'm probably going to get into this more on the 8 o'clock show on the United Stand. But I don't really get the Sesko conversation because he wasn't our priority striker. When he was scoring goals a couple of weeks ago, you got United fans going, what an amazing signing. We dodged a bullet with Liam Delap and Gyökeres. And then he plays, not amazingly well yesterday. And it's like, what a flop, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, 1 week he's amazing and the next week he's a flop. And I think the reality is he's a young striker adjusting to the Premier League the same way that Wirtz is and others. And the jury is obviously out. And the jury will continue to be out. But he doesn't have to be the finished article. But the bottom line is, when it comes to Sesko, is that he was our 5th choice centre forward. That's a fact. So it wasn't like we sat there in March and went, we want this 6'5" striker from Leipzig and we're going to build the team around him. He was 5th choice. We went for Delap, we didn't get him. We went for Gyökeres, we didn't get him. Went for Ekitike, we didn't get him. Went for Ollie Watkins, we didn't get him. And then we went for Sesko. So, and we might have gone for Osman, I don't know. So, look, to me, I don't think Amrin was necessarily looking for a target man striker to put crosses into the box for, because we're not even doing that. And I think with Sesko, you've got to put crosses in the box. And we refused to do that yesterday. So I think it's a work in progress. Lovely play by Semenyo, but good tackle there by Bernardo. I'd say Bournemouth have settled well into this game, though. Looking dapper today, Mark. I've just put a nice shirt on. Went down the local for a meal, so... Brooks. Oh my God. How have Bournemouth got done like that? How have they got done by that? I mean, I can't believe how shit that defending is from Bournemouth. I just can't believe it. I cannot believe how shit that defending is. How do you come to the Etihad? How do you come to the Etihad and defend like that, you absolute twats? What is that? What fucking idiots do that? I'm not a Bournemouth fan and I'm bloody fuming with that. It's a Bernardo Silva flick on the halfway line to get Erling Harland through. Shit defending. What idiots come to the Etihad and do that? I'm fucking fuming with that. What a stupid, stupid goal. What are they doing? What are their defence doing here? They've got one guy back And he pushes forward. Look at the number 5. Absolute clown. Fucking rubbish defending. Erling Harland running from his own half in a one-on-one in the first 20 minutes when Bournemouth are at the Etihad. Moron, number 5. Fucking hell. Absolute shite defending. That is... Oh, God. The guy's a bloody machine. Don't give him one-on-ones. Why are they not? Why are they playing such a high line at the Etihad? Why do I bother? Why do I bother doing Man City watch-alongs? Why do I fucking bother? I'm absolutely stunned that Bournemouth are pressing that high up the pitch with Erling Harland in the team. What was the Harland celebration? I think it was like robot, wasn't it? Because he's a robot. Man United are down to 8th, says John. Andy Atherton says, hi Mark, hope you're well. I can smell my dinner cooking, roast chicken, stuffing, and roast potatoes, roast parsnips, Yorkshire pudding and 3 veg gravy. Sounds lovely, Andy. That actually does sound good. This Bournemouth high line is going to get them battered here. I'm sat in Euston Station, Mark. Wish me luck, says Gilly. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've not read anything for a few hours about what happened on that train last night, but oh, my God. I don't know. If I speak. As a Bournemouth fan, I really don't rate Sensi. He's made mistakes like this season. Anyway, up the cherries, says BD. I mean, you know what? People make mistakes, but you're at the Etihad against the best striker in the league. You don't wander forwards and basically leave half the pitch for him to run into. From a Man City point of view, you'd be over the moon, but it's the piece of piss goal. You know, you can't be giving one of the world's best strikers one-on-one runs like that. He won't miss. Didn't say he was a flop. I said he reminds me of Veghorst type of player, very slow and stocky, only good with flick-ons, with 0 pace and 0 dribbling, says Default 66. Thank you, pal. Jason Marsh says, I'm on fish and chips and curry with Sultana's old school. Fish, chips and a curry. Enjoy. Who's the best player in the Premier League, in your opinion, says Decent? Right now, on form, I think you'd struggle to go past Harland or Caicedo. DJ says, if Harland got injured, City would be crap. Yeah, it's a weird approach by Bournemouth, but you know what? It's a bit like the Villa game yesterday. You know, I've not watched Bournemouth for a few weeks. You see them second in the league and you think, oh, they're amazing. And then you watch them and you go, what's this all about then? Bit like Villa yesterday, 4 wins in a row. Liverpool 4 losses in a row, and then you watch it and you go, what are Villa good at then? You know, that's the unpredictability of the league, I guess. Gabriel's having an amazing season, definitely, at Arsenal. James says, how are you going to survive these Man City watch-alongs? Well, I won't. If defenders keep fucking playing high lines and trying to... I mean, I just don't get it. Look, maybe... I don't know. I don't know what to say. The Brub says, if it's a one-on-one to save your life, who are you going for? Mbappe, Harland or Kane? Oh, I mean, it's a good question. I mean, I feel like Harland, to be honest, in a one-on-one. Great thing about City now is they can afford just to sit deep and counter. I thought Villa were poor about last night. Matteo has given us a super chat. He says, just came back from the UK and bought some Ineos washing up liquid to support the boss. Do they do washing up liquid, Matt? EO? Will you do F1 if it's close in the last races, Oliver B? Depends if it clashes with anything football related. Did you watch the World Series last night? What World Series? World Series of what, Jade? Corner from Bournemouth. Donnarumma, goal! Get in! Now that's the real quiz. 1-1. Donnarumma. Crapperuma. Crapperama. Crap armour. They're trying to get a foul. You're not having a foul. We're not having a foul. We don't give fouls for that anymore. Piss off, City. We're not changing the rules for you. Anthony Taylor, don't you even think about it. Don't you even think about it. That's not a foul. There's nothing in there that's a foul. What is he talking about? No. Piss off. Where you been for a year, pal? Welcome to the Premier League. Piss off. Absolutely not a foul there. No, he just punches it wrong. Get out. 1-1. Make sure you subscribe, everyone. Get involved. Game on. Bournemouth 1. Man City 1. You can't moan about that. Look, technically it probably is a foul, but we don't get them given in the Premier League anymore. Jog on. To be fair to Donnarumma, he's probably like, I'm not used to that. But the Man City players know full well that's not a foul. Why are we even showing a replay? Nothing happens. No. No, I'm sorry. We see way worse than that on every Arsenal, Liverpool corner. Way worse. Never in a million years. 1-1. Now that makes you want the oil, says Alex. City starting to lose their heads a little bit here. Right, now we're back to 1-1. What Bournemouth need to do is not play this stupid high line. Adams scored the goal, not Semenyo. Celtic beat Rangers 3-1 in the Cup. Bloody hell, Cologne beat Hamburg 4-1. Almala scoring again. Having a great season, Cologne. Inter Milan 1-2-1. What happened? What was the Napoli result yesterday? City players around the ref again. Utterly shocking, says Pally. Book them all, I say. Nil-nil for Napoli. Ooh. I mean, you've got to say the first goal, the goal for Man City was a keeping error. Sorry, the goal for Man City was an error by Senesi. And the goal for Bournemouth is a mistake by Donnarumma. Man City are very close to getting the second goal here. Corner. Look at them crowding the referee. Look at them crowding the referee. They need booking. This is a disgrace. Are you looking at this, the Premier League? This is a disgrace. An absolute disgrace. That is a handball. That is a penalty, to be fair. Corner. No, I don't think that is. Second time today, they have crowded the referee, jumping in his face. We talk about respect. We talk about respect in this league. Why is one team allowed to run around a referee getting in his face like that? And it's been going on for years. And they don't do anything about it. It's disgusting. That penalty appeal one was the worst. Jumping in his face, going like that. Do you think it was a handball? I mean, I did. I've seen him given. Man City have done it for years. I don't even blame Man City for doing it. Pep tells them to do it. But the referee, no, Man United don't do it. We don't do that. I don't see anybody do it like Man City do it. They've done it for years. They run to the corners. They run to the four corners of the planet. City players around the ref again is shocking, says Pally. Thank you very much for your super chat. Bournemouth need to be careful here, though. It's a little bit like United against Brighton last week, though, when we didn't get our penalty. They're riled here. And a riled team can be hard to deal with. They've definitely looked like they're going to score the second goal. Will Bournemouth get Europe, says Who to Blame. It would be miraculous if Bournemouth got Europe, because last season they were doing very, very well as well. But it's hard to sustain it across a 38-game season. Can you do a poll on if it was a handball? I need to see it again. To me, I thought it was a handball, but somebody said it hit his leg first. So, should City have had a pen? Yes or no? Glad they implemented the only captain speaks to the ref rule so rigorously. The PGML is an absolute clown show. Mate, have you noticed how last year Arsenal had 2 players sent off for kicking the ball away? You don't get booked for it anymore. Have you noticed the pass back rule? No one ever gets a free kick for that anymore. Only the captain's meant to speak to the referee. We've seen Man City twice. Oh my God, he's through one-on-one again. I can't speak. I literally cannot speak. Bournemouth, what the fuck are you doing? How thick are you? How stupid is this Bournemouth defence? Playing a high line at the Etihad. With donkey defenders going Eeyore. I mean, what the fuck are they doing here? Is that number 5 again? He's done it again. Who is this number 5 for Bournemouth? He's fucking shite. He's cost you 2 goals. He's run out of his position again. Absolutely fucking moron. Check his bloody bank account because he's ran out of defence twice. Is that number 5 for Bournemouth on both goals just leaves Harland and runs forward into fucking no one? I can't believe what I'm watching. 2 goals. He just wanders off. It's the same bloody player. Harland will score 10 goals tonight. What an absolute shite defender he is. Who is it? Senesi. Fucking hell. And he's a donkey. They're through again. Another high line. Oh my God. Cleared off the line. This Senesi is fucking shite. I did say I felt the Man City second goal was coming. I just can't understand why you go to the Etihad as a centre-back and just keep wandering out your position. I don't even know what he's trying to do, but he's done it twice. He's decided, dun, 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 I'm off. It's number 5, mate. I don't need to glass more. I don't need to wipe my glasses, mate. He's number 5. He's done it on both goals. Well, I feel bad for Bournemouth fans because you got no chance. You got absolutely no chance if you're going to come to the Etihad and your centre back's going to go walkies. I hope he does this against Man United. Apparently Senesi is actually normally quite good. Somebody's saying it's number 3 who did it. No. No. What are you talking about? You don't know how to analyse football. Watch it back. Number 3's playing him onside, but Senesi's not even playing onside. Watch what Senesi does. Watch the number 5. He runs into the midfield. Look. He's marking Harland. Oh, I'm off now. Leaves him. They're not playing an offside. Senesi just fucks off. Truffett's playing him onside, you're right, but watch what Senesi does. He's right next to Harland, then he goes, da-da-da, I'm going to go and mark Phil Foden where there's 2 fucking midfielders. Absolute twat. Second time as well. Truffett played him onside, but Senesi left him. Just randomly runs into the midfield for the second time. I couldn't give a shit whether Truffett plays him onside. The reality is you don't leave Harland, and he's done it twice. He's wandered off from Harland twice. I know, I'm marking the best striker in the world. Let me fuck off. You know, let me leave him unmarked. I think this is a great idea. I don't know why people don't do it more. I've actually figured out how to stop Harland. You don't mark him. Everyone thinks you need to mark him. You don't. The way to deal with Harland, the way to stop him scoring, is when they're on the attack, just run away from him. I've got this new idea. It's going really well. He's on a hat-trick in the first 35 minutes. Default 66 says too much pace, too much strength, and absolutely lethal clinic finishing. That's a proper number 9. Too much for any Premier League side, not just Bournemouth. I don't think Gabriel and Saliba would agree with that, mate. I've seen Erling Haaland shut down plenty of times over the last 2 years. He's not unstoppable. He's bloody unstoppable if you decide not to mark him. Bournemouth are a mess here. This could be a massacre. They're an absolute mess. Rabbits in the headlights and deers. Apparently Harland just missed another one-on-one when I was rewinding there. Arteta out, says Rub. I told you though, Man City are the best team I've seen Man United play this season. Semenyu's down injured here. Could get worse for Bournemouth. He's hurt his... I don't want to say it, but I think he's hurt his arse. Yeah, got a knee in the arse. At least it hit the cheek. Turned his back on Diaz and his knee went right into his bum cheek. 2 inches the other way and it could have gone in somewhere else. Diaz could have lost his knee. But yeah, Man City are the best team I've seen Man United play this season. Which is why I think it's interesting to see if they can sustain a title race. I mean, Liverpool next week's a big game, isn't it? I mean, Arsenal, as long as Arsenal beat Sunderland next week, it's a very good weekend for Arsenal, isn't it? Who do I think can beat Arsenal? Oh, you know, I just think, I was having this chat this morning. The trouble with Arsenal is they've only conceded 3 goals in 10 games. And they are, you know, one of those goals. The amazing thing about Arsenal is one of those goals was the Szoboszlai worldie. So no one was stopping that. So 3 goals in 10 games and one of them was a bloody worldie. It's, you've got to score against them to beat them. That's the problem. They're doing very well, Arsenal, at the moment. But it's very, very early in the season. That's why I think, you know, if Man City... I mean, Pep's going through a rebuild, isn't he? I think we're all going to acknowledge that. And to a certain extent, I think Liverpool are going through a rebuild as well. Look at Anthony Taylor fanboying with Harland. Just do your job. To be fair, Harland has 1 goal a game against Arsenal, says Harold. Yeah, but the point is, somebody was saying that Haaland's unstoppable. And yet, I know, as well as everybody else who's not a flip-flop knows, there's been loads of games where Harland doesn't score and people say he's just a flat-track bully. Harland is one of the best strikers in the world, but you can shut him down. It's been done. He has been shut down. You can shut Harland down. So I don't know why people say he's unstoppable, because he is. He has been shut down. And then people say, he's just a flat-track bully. He's a world-class striker, but you can shut him down. It has been done. And he's not unstoppable. And he's not near unstoppable. He's been stopped loads of times. Last season, for most of the season, he was stopped. So he's having a very good season at the moment. There's a very good debate to be had about who's the best striker in the world, Kane or Harland, and they're both world-class. But you can't defend like that. You can't. I mean, he's got 2 goals because basically Bournemouth have left him unmarked on a high line. I mean, he'll kill you. And the thing about Harland is, on both those chances, I don't necessarily think every striker in the world scores both of those. All right, one-on-one, you expect Harland to score. But I don't think everybody does. His pace, his power, his ability to get away is unique. City's second top goal scorer in Premier League this year is Esteban. As a lifelong United fan, City play the best football, says Odin. And yes, lads, UTV says, we're disappointed last night. We knew we'd bottle it being the favourites. Not the end of the world losing at Anfield anyway. No, Villa need to reset and go again. Rudiger is Harland's dad, says Ale. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching City play Dortmund on Wednesday, actually. And the game next week against Liverpool. I've got a feeling City might win all three. This one and those two. Opinion on Arsenal this season, says Harry. I think they're gonna win it, mate. I said it at the start of the season when it was unfashionable. But I could see it coming a mile off. I think they're going to win it. Very good defence. Very good squad. Very good at finding ways of scoring in games against teams who park the bus. See, it's not in Bournemouth's mentality, but I really think they should have come here and sat deep. You know, maybe technically they think they're favourites because they're second in the league, but their football, you can commend the way Bournemouth play football. It reminds me a little bit of Brighton. We play this way and we're not going to change it for anybody, but I think you've got to come and respect Man City. You've got to play a little bit deeper. I mean, look at this. I can see more light blue shirts than Bournemouth shirts because they're playing high up the pitch. That was nearly a great ball by Semenyo. But it's not over yet. It's only 2-1. It feels like it's over, but it's not. They've come back once before. Hamza says, how do you miss it? Mount would be perfect for yesterday. Nice ball through to the striker. Krupi into Truffert. Strange cross. Should have gone into Semenyo there. Next goals matters, says Dr. Dan. Yeah. Well, we're nearly at half time here. I think there'll be a few minutes added on. Disconnected Roma says, all this talk just for Bournemouth to equalise in the second half. Well, I think that's why the next goal's key. Because if Man City get the next goal, I think it'd be very hard for Bournemouth to come back. But in a way, they're masters of their own downfall. I mean, both City goals, when you think about it, are gifts. It's Crossbow says, I think City will win the league. Oh no, Steve is the Burnley centre-back who scored 2 own goals, says Blake. There we go. You know, Harland was nearly in again on the back post there. 5 minutes added on. Yellow card. Phil Foden. He can't understand it. I'm wearing blue. You're not meant to book us. We can't be booked. I think he's booked him for his haircut, really. I don't think he's booked him for the pull. He pulled him back. I mean, I don't know what Foden's on about there. He definitely pulled him back. Do you remember when Keane ended Harland's dad's career, says Gareth? He didn't end his career. It's a myth. It's one of those footballing myths that Roy Keane ended Erling Haaland's dad's career. He didn't. He came back from that injury and continued to play quite a lot. And I think it was actually the other knee that ended his career. There's a debate to be had that the Keane injury led to other injuries in his career, but it didn't actually end his career. I mean, it was a nasty. I will say it was a nasty tackle, and he meant it, and there was a reason for it. It was because Roy Keane when he did his cruciate ligament at Ellen Road, Alfie Inge Harland, who is the dad of Erling, stood over him while he was on the floor and was giving him a load of shit. I don't think Roy Keane forgot it. But it was horrific. It was a horrific tackle. Remember when Roy Keane got sent off in Europe for standing on the goalkeeper? He sort of just ran through in a one-on-one, and then as he jumped over the goalkeeper, he just basically put his weight on him. Etihad as full as ever. Very quiet, apparently, according to Reflex. I don't know what it is that they can't fill the ground for games like this. I mean, Sunday afternoon, you're playing second in the league. I don't know. The Emirates would be full. Anfield would be full. Old Trafford would be full. Ticket prices, lack of fans, I don't know. I mean, it's not like they haven't been successful for the last decade either, is it? I think Bournemouth would take being one down here and try and regroup in the second half. The free kick there. Are we in the kitchen tomorrow, Mark? No, it's been delayed by another week. I'm back in the bedroom tomorrow for the 10 o'clock show. I'm quite chill about it, though, because I want to make sure it's done properly, and it would have been a rush. Do you think Arsenal might be on the way to make history, but we are all underplaying it because it's them? Neasy. What history are they about to make? I mean, Liverpool literally won the league last year. The City won it the year before. If Arsenal win the league, it's not making history. They can't be invincibles either because they've already lost. So why would they be making history? Oh, I suppose they might concede the least amount of goals, but in fairness to Chelsea, no one ever really talks about that anyway. The less goals thing, no one really. I mean, I know Chelsea conceded the least goals, but no one really talks about it. I wouldn't say everyone's going to go, ooh. Pretty sure I saw a whole section empty at the top, says Maker. I think that's, to be fair to Man City, I think that's renovation. Oh, he's not let them have the corner. He's blown the whistle. Well, Erling Haaland's loving life at the moment. Everything's going very well for him. Another 2 goals. Do City players regret signing for a club that can't fill the stadium? Do they think about stuff like this? I don't think so. I think, as I said, I think Erling Haaland looks very, very happy at the moment, doesn't he, Rajaf? Agony Bridge. I'm single, 29 and worried I won't have kids. 29 is not old, Como. 29 is not old. Like, if you're a man, you can have a kid in your 50s, but yeah, 29 is not old. I won't be worried about that sort of stuff yet. Pretty sure, thank you very much for that. Do you think Arsenal done that from Neasy? Mark, this Cherky looks class. Goal assist in week, says Odin. Thank you very much for that as well. So half time, let's have a look at the stats here, actually. Let me get them up on screen. There we go. So, I mean, possession-wise, almost 50-50, but look at the chances. Man City have had 9 to Bournemouth's 2. They've had 6 on target to Bournemouth's 2. They've had 6 corners to Bournemouth's 1. I actually think, in fairness, 2-1 flatters Bournemouth because they've been poor, really poor. And I think that both goals is terrible defending by Senesi, but yeah, it's not. It's not good, is it? Really, not good at all. And I think it would be very surprising if they didn't manage to find a way to go on and win this game more comfortably, Man City. But at 2-1, I suppose it leaves it. There is that level of interest that maybe Bournemouth could get something back. But Man City look a level above them. And it's interesting. I think in recent weeks, we've had people talking about the top 4, haven't we? And who's going to get top 4 and what a competitive league it is. But as I said on the show last night, I look at that league table, look at the top 3, look at where Chelsea are. I said it at the start of the season. I'm a bit surprised after game week 10, they haven't opened up a gap yet. But I wouldn't be surprised by Christmas if that top 4 is what many of us predicted in the summer when we saw the sheer volume of transfers that they've taken. I think it might be. What's this? Predator universe gets bigger. Predator Badlands. Is it a computer game? It's in the cinema. No, I'm not going to the cinema. Anyway, yeah, I do think we're going to see Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea in the top 4. I think this weekend has opened my eyes to that because Spurs in the top 4 as of yesterday, they're not there anymore. They were levels ahead of Chelsea. Chelsea were levels ahead of Spurs. Liverpool, Villa, Liverpool, again on another level. And Bournemouth, who were second against Man City, again, you can see the big levels. So, look, correct me if I'm wrong, or, well, challenge me. I just think the top 4 will be comfortably Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea. What order, we can debate, but I don't see... I think the last few weeks we've been living in a world of, United could do it, or Bournemouth could do it, or Sunderland could do it, or Spurs could do it. But I think they won't. The 4 will be the 4. And it will come down to 5th place, which is up for grabs, I suppose. Did you see, NK says, did you see Spence ignoring Thomas Frank last night? I thought it was bang out of order. I don't know the context of it. And I think you always have to be very, very careful. But, sometimes you can see something. And basically, the players are walking off the pitch yesterday. And Thomas Frank puts his hand out to Spence. And Spence just doesn't put his hand out. And Thomas Frank sort of looks at him puzzled as to why you haven't done that. And Spence just walks off. Now, look, of course, a player may be frustrated. But you have to show respect to your manager, especially in a public forum like that. I thought it was petulant, arrogant and out of order. And I hope it gets resolved because he's had a good season for Spurs. But you can't be doing that to your manager. It's an awful attitude to have. You are a player in a team that's bigger than you, and the manager has to be bigger than you. And you can't do that. So hopefully there will be an apology. Apparently Van der Ven did it as well, but Van der Ven, he wasn't putting his hand out to Van der Ven. Spence snubbed the handshake. So, yeah, look, Thomas Frank's problem at Spurs is the same as Amrim's problem at Man City. Amrim's problem at Man United. Light switch players. I've said it, Spurs are the original light switch players. You just don't know. On, off, on, off, on, off. You just don't know what's going to happen. And, Spurs were shit yesterday, but how many individual performances were shit as well? They're just like, they are a light switch team. I worry about them a bit next week because Man United are playing them and they're so bad at home. I think Man United could get a result, but they might turn the switch on. What do you think of Mike Ashley buying Sheffield Wednesday, says Langford? Just when Sheffield Wednesday thought they were going to be okay. Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I think I'll leave it to Newcastle fans to tell Sheffield Wednesday fans if that's a good idea. Gabe says, why are teams giving the best striker in the league so much space? The blueprint to beat City is simple. Be resolute in defence and counter. Arrogance, mate. I think this is a great comment, and you probably won't get this sort of comment and debate on the mainstream because they're terrified of saying it. But the point is, they're trying to make out that's a foul on Donnarumma. It really isn't. This has been... You know what? It's funny when it happens to City. Oh, it's got to be... Shay Given's there because he used to play for City and he's a ex-goalkeeper. I think that's a foul on the keeper. Where have you been for the last 18 months, Shay? On holiday? That's been happening for 18 months. James Trafford literally got body, assaulted. It's been going on. It's not new. We all know that's a foul. That's not a foul. Because the PGMOL decided that you can rough a goalkeeper up on a set piece now. I don't know why they're talking about that. I really, really don't. To be honest, Newcastle was good, too big for Ashley. Wednesday might be a good fit, says Gav. Thank you very much for that. But yeah, look, going back to what Gabe said about why are Bournemouth turning up at Man City with a high line and not marking Harland properly. I think there are managers in the Premier League that are very arrogant, ignorant and stubborn. And it's almost like I play this way and I'm not going to do anything else. And I use Brighton as a prime example. Obviously, they beat Leeds comfortably at home. They beat Newcastle comfortably at home. But sandwiched in between that, they come to Old Trafford. And what do? We're not going to change the way we play. We're going to play miles away from each other and we're going to play out from the back and that's what we're going to do. And United are like, just win the ball and exploit the space. Now, if Brighton had come to Old Trafford last week and played a deeper line and more compact and countered with the likes of Minte and Welbeck, they might have got a result. But they don't. They go there and go, we're going to play our way with our players. And Bournemouth have done the same. We're going to come here and we're going to play our way. And what happens? You don't win. And Man United did it yesterday against Forest. We go to Forest, who we know are going to be compact and a low block, and we try and counter. It was never going to work. I just think there are a lot of managers in the Premier League that go, I play this way, I'm going to do this. And it works to a point, but in the big games like this, Bournemouth should be coming to City and going, let's play compact, let's not push up too high, and let's use people like Brooks and Semenyo as our counter options. But they won't do it. Because they'll go, no. We're second in the league because of playing this way, so we're going to do it. Frank asked them to applaud the fans. They also snubbed the assistant manager in the same video right after. Spencer's always been trouble, says Bisson. He's got a very big ego, mate. Just from his interviews, you can see that. But you know what? If I was a Spurs fan, no matter how good you think Spence is, I'd be appalled this morning. If that had happened with United yesterday, I'd have done a video this morning calling that player out. And I would have said, you've had a really good season, but who do you think you are? You play for Tottenham, you play for the fans, you play for the manager. You're playing for yourself there. That's selfish, that's about you, that's about your ego. You're not a team player, I don't care how good you are. Drop him and sell him. That's what I would say because, he's had a very, very good season, but he needs to come out and apologise. It's a bad attitude, of course. Terrible attitude. That's not a team player. Wouldn't happen at other clubs that are successful. Wouldn't happen at Arsenal, would it? I hope all is well. I'm happy with United's improvement. Looks like it's going to be a very unpredictable season. Good opportunities, says Eddie. Look, I look at that league table. Top four will be Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, in whatever order you want. Fifth place will get Champions League football because we're doing well in Europe again, or the English clubs. So who's getting fifth place? I can't see it being Spurs. I can't see it being Bournemouth. I can't see it being Sunderland. Newcastle are nowhere near it. I can't see it being Palace. I can't see it being Brighton, which leaves one team. You've guessed it. Brentford. No, Man United. Man United. There's another bloody Christmas advert here. It's another bloody Christmas advert. What's going on? It's only the 2nd of November. Some big, massive, giant, ugly thing. Oh, it's Christmas food. Actually, I don't mind that. Oh, it's the BFG. What does BFG stand for? Big... Friendly giant. Big friendly giant. Sainsbury's. You're doing Madrid-Liverpool. I'm nervous. Yes, Jack. Our next watch-alongs will be Tuesday night. Double watch-along. PSG, Barcelona. PSG, Bayern Munich. Liverpool, Real Madrid. Massive, massive game. And we're only 48 hours away. We love the Champions League on here. So join us Tuesday, Wednesday night. You're very welcome. Thank you very much for your super chats, by the way. Frank asked, I've done that one from Bisson. Thank you very much to Gabe. Thank you very much for that as well. Ghostbuster says we're not getting top 4, but I don't know who you support. Turan says you couldn't beat 19th place Forest. What makes you entitled to 5th? It's just, I mean, mate, what is it? School tomorrow? I mean, that's just such a childish comment. We beat Liverpool 3 weeks ago. We beat Brighton. They're both in the top half of the table. Liverpool are 3rd. You know, Man City lost to Brighton. Man United can get 5th place. I'm not saying we are getting 5th place, but what I'm saying is if you take Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea and you put them in the top 4, who's the 5th best team in England after 38 games? No one can tell me that. Certainly don't think it's going to be bloody Bournemouth. If they get... Look, honestly, if I'm playing Bournemouth, Man United are playing Bournemouth at Old Trafford next month. If I'm Ruben Amorim, I'm watching this game now and I'm going, if they're going to go to the Etihad and play like that against the world's best striker, they're definitely going to come to Old Trafford and play like that. Yabba dabba do. We like to play direct, quick ball in behind teams. Man United 3, Bournemouth 1. United will beat Bournemouth next month. Guaranteed. Because they'll come and play like Brighton did and they're perfect. They're perfect for us because we like to hit those long balls in behind. So if teams are not going to adapt, then as a United, as I look at United this season, the teams that worry me, Palace. Crystal Palace worry me because they're very compact. Obviously Forest yesterday, Everton. Those sort of teams that are going to be compact worry me. The Bournemouths, the Brightons, bring them on. Bring them on. Should City have had a penalty for a handball? 65% of you said no. There you go. Semenyo still a little bit sore on his bum. Got a knee in the back from Diaz. Temptation says, you say the manager won't change for the opposition. It's arrogant, but when your manager does it, he's a genius. What are we talking about here? I'm sort of lost. If anyone can help me. So we've had a super chat from Temptation saying, you say the manager won't change for the opposition and it's arrogant, but when your manager does it, he's a genius. I'm confused by this. So what are you saying? I'm saying that managers need to change in relation to the opposition. And when Amorim does it, I say he's a genius. So that makes sense. I'm saying it's arrogant not to change the way you're playing against certain teams. Well, of course it's genius if you do it. I don't get your point there unless I'm being really stupid. So you're saying that you're basically saying if Amorim, look, yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about. Anyway, Amorim didn't change the way he played yesterday against Forest, and we drew. I thought it was stubborn and stupid. I said it on my match reaction. So I think you've got to adapt against different teams. If your system is going to be exploited by the opposition, then you need to change. I agree that it would be great to play the way you want to play every week, but teams play in different ways. Arsenal don't play the way they want to play. Arsenal play against teams who park the bus and have to find a way of winning. That's not... Arsenal's not... You know, I was listening to Jeff Stelling at the start of last week, and he was going, Arsenal need to be more expansive. And I felt like going, are you that moronic? Like, Arsenal are not a set-piece, boring team. they're playing teams that won't let them be expansive because they're parking the bus. So you have to find a way of winning against them, and Arsenal have found a way. Arsenal don't want to play slow, laborious football against the park the bus team. They want to be more expansive, but teams park the bus because they're scared of them being expansive, which is exactly what Bournemouth should have done here. But they come and play expansive and they get hurt. All teams have to respect oppositions. Like, you can't go to Forest and play direct Route 1 quick attacking football against a team that's playing deep. So you've got to be more possession based. You've got to work your way up the pitch. You've got to look to get crosses in the box. You've got to get runners overlapping. You've got to, you've got to try and create opportunities against the low block. You can't just hit it long and hope to hit a Hollywood pass. Who do you think is better, Mark? Isak or Ekitike? At the moment, Ekitike is playing better, but I would say Isak is the better player, the better talent. But at the moment, it's Ekitike has been the better signing. James says, Mark, you're right about teams just below the top six. Villa, Brighton, Bournemouth thinking they can go toe-to-toe and win away at top six grounds. It's massively naive, James. I mean, I was speaking to a Villa fan this morning and they were like, I can't believe what we did at Anfield. Like, we went to Anfield and played out from the back. And literally, Liverpool have lost their last 4 games in a row because teams have gone direct and not played out from the back. And then Villa go to Anfield and play out from the back. It's like it's like getting into a boxing ring with Tyson Fury and saying, you can have the first 3 punches. I'm very confident. And then you get knocked out. But that's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. Bournemouth have done it today. Brighton did it at United last week. Villa did it at Liverpool last night. These managers are stubborn in the way they want to play, and they'll go into certain games and get beat because they're like, no, I'm not going to change the way I'm playing. And you have to. If you want to be in the top 4, you have to change the way you're playing. Look at Man City when they went to Arsenal a few weeks ago. They didn't play like this. Look at Arteta when he used to go to Man City when they were good. He'd go and park the bus. You have to respect certain oppositions. And Villa last night was incredible to me. Absolutely incredible. The way to beat Villa, the way to beat Liverpool is to bypass their press, hit it long. And they go and try and play out from the back. Anyway, this game is up and running. We're 3 minutes in, 2-1. Man City have been way better than Bournemouth, but it is only 2-1. And to be fair to Bournemouth, both goals were preventable. Thanks for your super chats. Anyway, some good conversations as per usual. Temptation says, I'm saying your manager don't change or adapt. If it works for him. But you're saying managers should adapt. But criticise your fan base if they say that. So I'm a bit confused. Should they adapt or not? No, you don't. You're not listening, mate. So actually, I understand what you're saying now. So thank you for the clarity and thanks for the super chat. So you're saying that when I'm saying when Amrin refuses to adapt, that's genius. But when the Bournemouth manager won't adapt here, he's an idiot. Well, that's not what I'm saying, because after the game yesterday, I literally said that Amrim should have adapted. He should not have played the way he did against Brighton and Liverpool against Forest, because it won't work. So I'm very consistent on that managers should be looking at the game and going, is the way I play going to be vulnerable to this team? And is it worth the risk of going for it? And it isn't. Like Brighton, vulnerable way to play at Old Trafford, get beat. Bournemouth, vulnerable way to play at Man City, losing. Villa, vulnerable way to go to Anfield, lose. You have to change. You have to adapt. As I said, the dream is to play the way you want to play every single game. But we're not all Barcelona, Barcelona are one of the few teams out there in world football who will play that high line and will play their way all the time. And it's great to see. Chance for Bournemouth side netting. Neezy says, I think Mbappe is going to embarrass Liverpool. I can't wait for those games on Tuesday night. Really excited. Make sure you join us for those watch-alongs. I mean, Liverpool have got 2 huge games. Honestly, looking at Liverpool last night, looking at Man City tonight, I think it will be a close game next week. I'd say Man City with Harland, you've got to put them as favourites, and it's at the Etihad, but that'll be a very interesting game. And again, Arsenal will have already played, so they beat Sunderland, which I think they will, and they'll be hoping for a draw, won't they? Chelsea aren't playing Barcelona this week, are they? Chelsea-Barcelona is... I think that's I think that's after the next international. I can't believe there's another international break coming up. At least it's the last one. No, Chelsea have got Karabag on Wednesday, and then they've got Barcelona on the 25th. So yeah, we will be doing that when it's on. Actually, don't forget, this international break coming on this channel on the middle Saturday. It's our all-day charity stream. We're doing a Ben Eubank watch-along on the evening, and we've got a load of stuff planned as well, so get involved for that. I went for a draw, and Robbie went for a win. I thought it was a stupid thing to do. It's amazing how you can predict scores when there's no pressure, but now the game's being played, I'm looking at it and going, what an absolute moron. Why would you not go for a City win at home to Bournemouth? And that's why Robbie's winning, win, lose or draw. Sully says, what impresses you the most about Bournemouth, Mark? The fact that they're in the top 4. I also think they're one of the best teams I've seen play. They're one of the best teams to watch in the Premier League. Not today. They've struggled today. But they're a good footballing side. They move the ball around really, really well. That's a lovely ball. Oh, big save by Donnarumma. They should have scored there, Bournemouth. They've had the 2 best chances of this half. That's what I mean, though. Look, this is good football. Really good football. Players running off the midfield. He can't really, to be fair to him, he can't really do a lot there. Krupe. Then again, maybe Bournemouth could get a draw. Still a long way behind City for shots on target. They scored from the last corner. Trying to get on Donnarumma's grill again. Interesting corner. Back post. Cut back. Send Senesi again. You're so shit, mate. Is he a City fan, Senesi? Like, why did he not hit that first time on the 6-yard box? Who would you say are the 5 best teams in Europe right now? I think Arsenal are the only English team in that conversation. No. I think certainly Bayern Munich, PSG and Real Madrid and Arsenal would be the 4. 5th, I mean, a lot of people will say Barcelona. I think Man City and Liverpool can be in that conversation. They've just not started the season that particularly well. So I probably would say Barcelona at the moment from what I've seen. But Man City and Liverpool are capable of joining that conversation. In a few weeks' time, we might be saying that. If you could sign a Bournemouth player to improve Man United, who will it be? Oh, you know what? It's interesting because I think Brooks and Semenyo are fantastic players. But do United need those types of players? You probably would take. You probably would take Semenyo because he's their best player, but you'd have to get him to play as a left wing back, which for me is a little bit of a waste. Can put him up front. Who do you think Pep Guardiola will get replaced by, says Phoenix? I think this is City's big problem. I personally think Pep was going to go in the summer, and I think he wanted to go. And I think Man City put the money down and said, look, we can't afford to lose you, because I genuinely think they were probably looking at Amorim. And I know City fans will hate that and everyone will laugh about that. But when he was at Sporting, they took the sporting director, Hugo Viana. I think they were looking at Amorim in the summer last year. But Man United obviously took him. And they're probably quite happy about that. But I don't know that there's a manager in... I don't know that there's a manager coming through at the moment. Maybe Vincent Kompany, yeah. I think Vincent Kompany makes sense because he's ex-City. But he has just signed a new contract at Bayern. So Vincent Kompany would be the only one that sort of jumps out. But that means Pep's got to stay for a while. Iriola could work. Yeah, Iriola could work. I think that looks like it's a bad injury for Jimenez here. Cruciate, maybe. I understand Iraiola's approach today. City with that backline and goalkeeper should never be playing out the back against a high press side, but Pep insists, says Bon. Look, Bournemouth are only losing 2-1, and as much as I think they made defensive errors, it's Senesi who's cost them 2 goals. If he just costs them 1, they're drawing, aren't they? But I think that naivety has cost them. Coleman says, why would Bournemouth change the way they play when they beat City last season? I'm asking for Cameron Reid. Because at the start of the game, Bournemouth were second and Man City were outside of the top 4. So if Bournemouth want to protect where they are in the league, you don't need to go to Man City and win. You need to go to Man City and not get beat. And what's the best way to not lose to Man City? It's to not concede. And I think they've conceded 2 silly goals by being a little bit too attacking. But I don't watch Bournemouth enough to know if Iraiola's like Hertzler at Brighton, where he just won't change it no matter who they play. Silly shot from Brooks there, way too far out. He's had a good game, but that was silly. Looks like Evan Nilsson's coming on for Krupi, who, to be honest, hasn't really had the best of games. Good questions, though. Thank you very much. Do you think the Palace manager would take over from Pep? I think he'd have to do a very good interview explaining why he'd changed the way that he plays. Goal. Right, Riley, and that's probably game over. And again, I'm looking at the defending here, and if I see Senesi, I don't know what I'm gonna do. If it's Senesi closing him down here again, he's got a hat-trick. I'm sort of confused why that. It's a good finish by O'Reilly, and I think he's a really good prospect at City, but I don't understand why that doesn't get blocked. I really don't. It's good play by Foden, because he's got players on him. It's Senesi again. Why does he turn his back on a shot as a centre-back? What's he doing here? Watch Senesi here turn his back on this. Weird. Look at that. He's had a stinker. An absolute stinker. That's how not to block a shot. Turn your back on it, and he's got to close the angle and get the block. O'Reilly's not even hit it that well. That should be blocked. That's probably game over now. Treble substitution for Bournemouth, though. Cliver, Evan Nilsson coming on. Is Senesi like that every week? Because I don't watch Bournemouth enough to know. Obviously, he isn't like that every week. Edward says, when Arsenal play Bournemouth, we see Brazil 2004. Popo says, City just too good. I genuinely don't think that. I don't think City have had to get out of third gear, which is a compliment. I don't think City have been too good. I think Bournemouth have made life very easy for them. You know, sometimes you have to really find levels in the Premier League. I don't think City have had to find levels today. As I say, Harland 2 one-on-ones. O'Reilly had a one-on-one. O'Reilly's just scored there. I think it's been straightforward for City. And as I said, the way that Bournemouth have played, it's not the way to play. It's like Villa last night. You don't go to the Etihad and play like this. Who do you think you are, Bournemouth? Who do you think you are? I rate O'Reilly, OD. I think he's... I was in Manchester a couple of weeks ago and I got an Uber into Manchester City Centre, and the driver was a Man City fan. I thought, he's going to kick me out. So I had to say something nice about Man City. Thankfully, he didn't watch the YouTube channel, or I think I would have been kicked out. But I did say, like, I do think that O'Reilly is a good player. He's a very good prospect. Man United could do with him at left back. This weekend's a bit like, you know, this is the beauty of football, isn't it? Last weekend, as a United fan, it was perfect. United beat Brighton, Man City lose to Villa, Liverpool lose, Chelsea lose. Everything looks great. Week later, Man United drop points, Chelsea win, Man City win, Liverpool win, and look at the table now. And that's it, you know. But I think it'll be a good game next week, Liverpool and Man City. I mean, Arsenal will be open for a draw, like I say, but that'll be a very interesting game tactically. Who do they go at each other? Do you sit in a little bit? Do you think Bournemouth can finish top four? No. No, and I think this is why after 10 games, Bournemouth should be applauded, but this is why they won't be in the top four after 38 games, because we've seen the weakness here. For whatever reason, they've approached this game. I'd never take my side. I'd never take a side to Man City and play like that. Top four will be Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea. Just pick the order. That one will 100% be the case. Do you think Foden should get back in the England squad? No. Absolutely not. I don't see the point. He's playing really well, and he may well get in the squad, but I wouldn't put him anywhere near the first team because he's too slow. You know, you need people around Harry Kane who are going to run off him. So I think England have got to think about England as a team that you're trying to build to win a World Cup, not a squad of the best players performing in England. And I know that sounds really weird, but there's no point in picking the best 20 players on form. You've got to pick the best 20 players that suit the way you want to play. Otherwise, you're PSG when you had Mbappe, Neymar and Messi. We need to be PSG who won the Champions League. We need to build a team. And Harry Kane in an England shirt, we don't always get the best out of him. And I think with Harry Kane, you don't want Foden playing off him because he's too slow. Be good if Bournemouth could get a goal back. Truffert, terrible shot. Adam says, hello, Mark. I've just had a KFC. I know a lot of people who have KFC on a Sunday. I don't know why, but James says, I heard that Andrew Windsor is a City fan. And Robbo says, do you think a City win is good or bad for Arsenal? This maintains a little gap between first and second place, but City were always the greater threat to their title chances than Bournemouth, so them encroaching could be troublesome. Yeah, I don't think Arsenal fans... I think Arsenal fans would love Bournemouth or a Palace or a Sunderland or a Man United to be second. They won't want to see Liverpool and Man City in second and third, for the reasons you've just said there. You don't want Liverpool and Man City, the teams in second and third, because if you slip up, them teams are capable of it. Nico G looks very Rodri-esque, says Odin. Jay says, do you think by some miracle Sunderland win the league, it would be more impressive than Leicester winning it? Yeah, because well, it would be, because the season that Leicester won the league, everybody was shit. United was shit, Man City was shit, Liverpool was shit, Arsenal was shit. It was Spurs and Leicester going for that title all season. It was a weird year. Now, if Sunderland won the league this year, which they won't, look at the teams you've got. Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal. So, of course, it would be better. But it won't happen, Jay. I understand. Done that from Bond. Thank you very much. Let's run a poll, because this changes week to week. Either or. Kane or Harland. Let's have a look at Man City's next few fixtures as well, because it's whether somebody can actually put a bit of pressure on Arsenal, isn't it? We know Arsenal have got a good run of fixtures, but City have got Liverpool, Newcastle, Leeds. I mean, to be fair, those next two games for Man City are difficult. I know Newcastle are playing badly at the moment, but Newcastle at Newcastle is always a tough game. So they've got Liverpool and then Newcastle in the Premier League. Then they've got Leeds, Fulham away, Sunderland at home, Crystal Palace away. So if they can beat Liverpool next week and then they can beat Newcastle, then I think you're starting to look like a contender. And that's the challenge for Man City, isn't it? Because they have lost a few games already this season. They've lost 3, haven't they? What about Bournemouth? Could this be the drop-off from Bournemouth now after a very good start to the season? Well, they go to Villa next Sunday, which will be tough. I mean, that's the quintessential bounce-back game for both of them, isn't it? Villa had won 4 in a row. They go to Anfield and lose, naively. Bournemouth were second in the league. They go to Man City and lose, naively. So that'll be an interesting one. Then they've got West Ham at home and Sunderland away. So, you know, Bournemouth have got a good month if they can find some form. Still 20 minutes to go here. Do you think United will go for Stiller in January, says Jay? I'd be very surprised. I think it'll be a summer thing. Friends says, you've watched football for more than 30 years. Do you believe it is the hardest, quickest and most competitive it's ever been? No. I think it's the quickest it's ever been. I think the players have been fitter than they've ever been. But I don't think it's the most competitive, and I don't think it's the best. Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, the fitness levels and the speed of the game is definitely quicker than it's ever been. But the quality of the football, I don't think, is the best it's ever been. I think the game has become a little bit of a chess game at times. I think the raw... flair has somewhat been diluted. I agree with what Fabregas said this week. I don't know whether you saw what Fabregas said this week. He said that I've noticed in the last few years the death of the number 10. And then he expanded it by saying pure creativity is starting to die because everyone's becoming quite robotic in their tactics. Pep Guardiola is a very robotic coach. Like he wants to mastermind the game. That's what he wants to do, and it's his right. Individual flair, where the player wins the game, he doesn't like that. He wants his team to win in a vision of what he dictates, and he's very good at that. We don't see a lot of individual flair anymore. What do you think the best era of football was? I don't know. I mean, look, maybe we are living through the best era of football. I've got nothing against that because we're living it, you know? And it's like that statement, isn't it, from The Office where he said, you know, I wish somebody tapped me on the shoulder. You know, people talk about the good old days. I wish somebody tapped me on the shoulder and told me when it was the good old days. And maybe we are living through the greatest era in football, you know, who knows? But I wouldn't like to classify what the best era of football is. Suffice to say, there were definitely eras in the Premier League where we were getting better individual goals. You know, you think about, I remember like some of the goal of the month, you sort of see it in the Bundesliga when we do the Bundesliga goal of the week. For whatever reason, bad defending, more open games, the ball's in play more flair, whatever. You see better goals week in, week out there. The Premier League, we don't get that many bangers. You know, you look at the goals today. O'Reilly's goal is okay. Harland's one-on-ones are very good, but we don't see many bangers. And I think back to like the early noughties, the late 90s, you know, there was just so many goals happening. And people go, well, yeah, but that's just because it's highlights. But no, there was a lot of good goals. Like you look at Letitia, the goals he was scoring. I think he'd be benched now. I think he'd be benched by most Premier League clubs for taking those shots on. Yeboah, remember those goals? Ginola, Di Canio. And I'm not even talking about players for big clubs there. I'm purposely talking about players from, you know, mid-table down. Kinkladze. Some brilliant goals. And I just think flair's gone out of the game a little bit. And that's a shame. Because there's no reason why it should go out the game. I would argue with anybody that watching this game tonight, there is no reason you couldn't have a Messi of 10 years ago getting the ball, skipping past 4 players and putting it in the top corner. I mean, we talk a bit about eras. What about, you know, 2010 to 2015 Ronaldo and Messi? Like, they were fucking unbelievable. So it's not like, I wouldn't even go back as far as the 90s. Just look at what Ronaldo and Messi were doing week in, week out 10 years ago. Like, some of the goals Messi used to score. God. In the Champions League, in La Liga, like he'd get the ball, pop through 4 or 5 players, play a 1-2 and curl it in the top corner. Some of the goals Ronaldo was scoring for United and Real Madrid. Like, smack it. I mean, have you seen some of the goals Ronaldo scored? Like 40 yards out, bang. Sprint past 3 players, bang. We just don't see that anymore. We don't see, I mean, some of the goals Ronaldo scored from distance for Real Madrid, for Man United, oh my God. Some of the goals Messi scored individually, oh my God. I'd love to see that again. I'd love to see that again. And it's not just because we won't see a Ronaldo and Messi again. We won't see a Ronaldo and Messi again. It's also because it's not encouraged to do that now. Which is why when you see people like Yamal, you get excited because you're like, that's just pure. Yeah, look, what about Ronaldo's goal against Porto? He scored one against Arsenal as well, didn't he, from a free kick? I always remember the goalkeeper. What was the goalkeeper's name? I obviously don't remember him. I can picture him. I can't remember his bloody name. Still 15 minutes to go here. If Bournemouth could get one back, you never know. But City do defend well. I'm on the United stand at 8 o'clock. Yes. Almunia, that was it. Yeah. Almunia. Powerful by Harland here. It's good to. It's nice to see Harland doing that. Part of the build-up. Yeah, I think football's, as I said, the quickest and fittest people have ever been. I just think we've seen the death of creativity. Actually, I think we've seen the death of flair. And I'd love to see that come back. And it can come back. It can come back because what I'm seeing at the moment is something I used to see in the late 80s, early 90s. You know, we're seeing long throws. We're seeing long balls. We're seeing set piece. So don't for 1 minute think we won't see the return of flair. It's not dead. It's just sleeping. We will see it back. We will see these individualism players. And I would say to any parent that's got kids playing football, never let a coach coach out of you individual ability, and never don't encourage your players to learn, you know, close ball control and the ability to take people on. Because that's what gets people on the edge of the seats. And it will be back. It will be back. Because there'll be a coach that goes, I want that. I want that to happen. I want you to commit players. I want you to take people on. I want you to win free kicks. I mean, look, if I'm Mikel Arteta, I'd be saying, and he does do it, I'd be saying to Saka, take people on, win us free kicks. It's a set piece, you know? And if they don't tackle you or foul you, go on and score. But what is in, I mean, it's like what Drusha says, it's like fashion, it comes and goes. Yeah, flair's not dead. It will come back because long throw-ins are back in fashion. Set pieces. Yamal's bringing the flair back, says Alex. Paddy says, flair is gone because it's a results-based game now. Well, look, why do we not see more bangers from 30 yards out? Because a manager would go, you've just given up possession. But I'll tell you now, if you've ever been to a training session for even a championship club, but I've been fortunate to go to a couple of Premier League clubs, what they do in training, you give a Premier League footballer a shot from 40 yards against any goalkeeper, they can put it in, they can score, they can do it. Obviously, in a real game, you've got people closing you down, there's a crowd, it's a different environment, but they are capable of doing it. Estevao is a very exciting player as well. Yeah, but look at what Maresca's doing with Estevao and Gittins. Estevao and Gittins are prime examples. They are better flair players than Garnacho and Neto. But he picks Garnacho and Neto because they will put a shift in for him defensively. At the moment, better than Gittins and Estevao. But Estevao and Gittins are the players you want to watch because they're better flair players. But Maresca needs results, and he needs Garnacho and Neto to work hard. Is he wrong? No. But I'd rather see Estevao and Gittins because they're better players. They keep you, they entertain you. Kev says, I think Bournemouth shouldn't be even close to 7th. They're awful. Terrible game plan today. A waste of time. I don't play fantasy football, Liam, no. Corner to City here, 10 minutes to go. This second half's dragged, mate. It's really dragged. It's gone on forever. Man of the match. Well, it's definitely not Senesi. I don't know whether I'd give... I don't know if it was him or Delo running through one-on-one and my life depended on it. I think I'd jump off the cliff and not wait to see who scored. I'd be like, it's over, innit? It's over, bruv. Yeah, you're on the edge of a cliff and you've got to choose between Senesi and Delo to score a one-on-one. Otherwise, you're getting pushed off the cliff. And I think I'd just jump and say, it's been a good run. Bye. Delo scored, Mark. It's too late. I would go Delo in a one-on-one. He's got a good shot on him, to be fair. No, he hasn't got a good shot on him, but he does practice it. What the fuck are Bournemouth doing here? Passing to City players. Why don't you play fantasy, says William. Takes too long. Takes up too much of my time. Harland's coming off, so he won't be getting a hat-trick. He's got 2. Remember, we're back on Wednesday night watching Man City play Dortmund. It could be a hard week for me this week because I openly admit that Man City wind me up. And I've got to watch them 3 times this week. But credit, look, Harland or Kane, 56% are going with Harland at the moment. Last week it was 70% going with Kane. It changes week to week. It's the biggest flip-flop topic of the year. I'm more Kane than Harland because I think you get more from the game from Kane. Power, pace, Harland. Overall game, Kane. Thoughts on Cherky today? He's a good player. He's a good player. He's rattled by Man United after that Lyon result. He can't shut up about us, but if he just focuses on his career at Man City, he'll be fine. Paul, Man United number 5, Bournemouth number 5, says the Hills. Well, there's more teams than that, mate. I think the question is who will finish higher, Bournemouth or United, which I will do for you. So Kane loses 56% to 44% to Harland. And let's do that. Who will finish higher? It's a weird week this week in the UK because we have this thing called Guy Fawkes Night, Bonfire Night on the 5th of November, which is a big tradition in the UK. So there's loads of bonfires and fireworks. But nobody really follows the actual event. It's always been an event in my life that it's not about when the 5th of November is. It's about the weekends around it because everybody always does the bonfire night celebrations on a Saturday night. So even though the 5th of November is on Wednesday, it will be the 8th when everybody does it. I think United have got a good chance of 5th, but ultimately United's problem is not everybody else. It's themselves. Come on, Bournemouth. Get one back and make it interesting. I dare you. No, they've got no bloody chance, have they? Got bloody no chance. Bloody here all week waiting for Bournemouth to get a goal. In fact, more chance that City will. And look at the high line again. Savio down the right-hand side. Look at this high line. I mean, you can understand it a little bit because they're trying to get back into the game. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. You're very welcome on That's Football, of course. Good result for City. And I will say this. People say you're a City hater. I don't hate anybody. City just get on my nerves. And, City fans should rejoice in that because it gets under my skin. But I'm always fair in my analysis. And I have said this before, and I'm not here to wind up Arsenal fans, but the best team Man United have played this season is Man City. Doesn't mean anything because Man City aren't top. But the best team we've played without a doubt, is Man City. And we didn't play that bad in that game in the first sort of 20 minutes. But I don't think... I'd like to see a title race, but I don't think Man City or Liverpool are going to get anywhere near Arsenal this year. But there's a long way to go. And Arsenal at some point will go through a bad run. I think sometimes you do get themes in the Premier League, though, and I think this weekend we have seen a theme of stubborn managers going away from home, thinking that by not tweaking their tactics, they'll be fine. Amorim at Forest, Emery at Liverpool, and now Iraola at City. You know, their inability or stubbornness to change their tactics has cost them dearly. Should a manager change or should they stick to their guns? I mean, some people will say no, a manager shouldn't change. But I think over a 38-game season, you can't play the same way every game. If Bournemouth had come here and sat a little bit deeper and countered, they may have still lost. But they've lost, you know, they could have lost a lot worse here. Do you think Tottenham will let City win for Arsenal? Well, they've done it before. Why change the habit of a lifetime? 58% of you are saying Man United will finish ahead of Bournemouth. You doing a match reaction? No. I'll draw the line there at spending 10 minutes talking about how good Man City are. No thanks. I think I'll leave that one. I could do a match reaction here. Man City deserved to win. They've been the better team. Bournemouth were massively naive. And if you go and play like that against Man City, they'll absolutely kill you. This is good for Man City fans, though. Rodri, we know what Man City are with Rodri in the team. Had a few injury problems since he came back. Totally normal that, you know. You know when you've had a major injury like a cruciate ligament, the amount of times that players pick up secondary injuries as well, it's quite common. Mark, I can't believe you leave Mbappe out of the striker conversation with Kane and Harland. He actually provides more than both. No, United 7-7-7-7-7. It's an either or. We're not leaving Lewandowski and Mbappe out. We were doing Harland or Kane. Grudge match next Sunday, Forest against Leeds, says Danny. And we've done that from the hills. Thank you very much. Gav says, I don't think Rodri will ever be the same player after that injury. I mean, some people do come back from that. I mean, look, if we're saying that about Rodri, then are we not saying the same about Lisandro Martinez, who has I mean, look, they both play in positions where you've got to be very, very competitive. I mean, Rodri's sort of shot up in age recently, hasn't he, as well? I always thought of Rodri as like 27, but he's turned 29 now. So it's difficult. It is difficult to come back from a major knee surgery when you are a combative player, and Rodri is certainly that. To me, I don't know whether it's the kit, but he doesn't look as trim as he did. And that could just be a lack of football, or it could be the kit. He looks a little bit heavier. Anyway, we're into stoppage time here. 5 minutes added on. Timber came back and is better. Exactly. Alan Shearer did it in the early 90s. I can't remember how... Alan Shearer had a cruciate ligament and was out for a year and came back and broke records. Like, it was right at the start of his career. As I say, I think Man City, their next 2 Premier League games will define whether they're going to be in a title race. If they can beat Liverpool next week and then beat Newcastle away, you'd look at them as the main contenders to the throne if Arsenal are going to allow that. Late corner. There is an 8 p.m. show tonight on the United Stand. Funnily enough, one of the big topics we're going to be talking about is, can United get top 5? You look kind of hot today, says Zooturn. Like the shirt. Thank you very much, mate. Maybe check your glasses. Get your eyes tested tomorrow. I'll get in there early. Semenu ghosted, says Lemon. I think it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult when you're the star player in a team like Bournemouth. You know, put him in a team surrounded with top quality players like Man City, and you know, you get a lot more going on. But yeah, just in general, I think Bournemouth have been okay, but as far as Champions League football goes, forget about it. You're just not going to get it playing like that. You know, are they going to do this at the Emirates? Are they going to do this at Old Trafford? Are they going to do this at Stamford Bridge? You're going to lose a lot of games playing like this away from home. As I say, this style of football, please come to Old Trafford and play like this, because we'll kill you on the break. Absolutely. But the big question is, who's going to get 5th place? And that was what I was saying at the start of the season. I genuinely think Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea will get top 4. 5th place, a lot of people felt maybe Newcastle. Not the way they're playing at the moment. Spurs. Well, let's see what Spurs and Man United do next week. That'll be an interesting game. Villa. Good shout, Randy. But remember, for Villa, win the Europa League, they're in the Champions League anyway. So second half of the season, Villa might start dropping points. What's the easiest thing to do? Win the Europa League or finish 5th in the Premier League? So Villa might just go second half of the season. Our priority is Thursday night football. Points get dropped in the league. Good shot. Saved by the keeper. United should be competing for 5th. We're not in Europe. We're playing 1 game a week. And we have got a big squad. Sunderland, nah. Looking at the teams that are in the Europa League, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a Forest Villa final, like it was Man United Spurs. Liverpool won't be top 5, says Randy. Well, let's have a virtual bet, because I absolutely guarantee you Liverpool will be top 4. Not even... I mean, I don't know what it is about Liverpool that you think that that's going to last. And he's blown the whistle on the 95th minute there. So we got through it. Good win for Man City. Never in doubt, really. The better side. Very naive by Bournemouth. But you turn up and play like that, you're going to get beat. I'm on the United Stand at 8 o'clock. I think there's a redirect on it anyway, but if you want to tune in, we're live on the United Stand at 8 o'clock. Don't forget, this week we've got some big watch-alongs coming up for you as well. We've got we've got Real Madrid, Liverpool on Tuesday night. We'll also be watching Bayern Munich, PSG. And then we've got Wednesday night football for you as well. Man City against Dortmund. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Nobody can say I don't sit and watch Man City sometimes. I did. And it wasn't that painful as well. Take care, everyone. I'll speak to you at 8 o'clock. Thanks for watching.